didn't have a big script, and I kind of just piggybacked, and it was great. So I think I was gonna just go that route again as today as well.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, I'm just going to quickly, so I just hit the recording, guys. So if you're watching this recorded or you're on live, the voice you hear is Kayla Troutman. I'm a director here with Wild Tree, and I live in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. And I am going to just kick us off with, it is November 27th. So this call is going to focus on two things: making sure you continue consistently through December, so that the second part of our call can be how to consistently make $2,000 or more a month with Wild Tree. And that's income, not sales. I did get that question today. Is your call going to be about selling $2,000 or about earning? And in order to earn that, you're going to want to sell that anyway. So it's technically both, but we're going to kind of go over that. So while I just post a reminder on my team page quick, I'm going to let the lovely Carolyn introduce herself. And then anyone that's on the call, let's just do some introductions again. Even if you were on last time, it's just neat for people who listen to the playback to know who was on. So take it away, my friend.
Awesome. Well, thanks you guys for joining. For those of you who have been on these calls before, you probably see me. My name's Carolyn Verplugen. I'm a team leader here with Wild Tree. Been with Wild Tree for a little over 3 years now, actively working my business for a little over 2. I am just so excited to be here and share. I've loved partnering with Kayla. She's just so insightful. She's such a badass, and she just has so many great things to talk about, and I'm excited for you guys to hear what we're chatting about today. So thanks for joining. And let's see, who am I going to pick on? I'm going to pick on Sarah. You get to go.
Me, Sarah? Yeah. From Wisconsin, Sarah?
Yeah.
I am Sarah McClanathan, team leader in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin, 4th grade teacher by day. I always enjoy these calls. I enjoy taking notes and writing them down, so I hopefully remember things, and I always take little tidbits away. So thank you, Carolyn and Kayla, for sharing all of your wonderful knowledge with us.
You bet.
Oh gosh. Here's on. Hi.
Hi.
You want to introduce yourself? We're doing introductions, and you
Oh,
just
goodness. I'm a little late. I'm sorry. I'm Sonia Peterson.
And where do you live?
I live here in Kalispell, Montana. And I'm so sorry. I feel like I gotta get a better angle here.
That's okay. No worries at all. Awesome. And how long have you been doing Wild Tree?
Not very long. Since September.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Well,
wow.
welcome.
Thank you. Very new to it.
Let me get my face on here.
Right.
Sorry that I had my little coffee cup face, but now I'm here. So I forgot, honestly. I forgot to put the camera on. So awesome. Nice to meet you. Yeah. Who else do we have? Is it Jess?
This is Jess's phone, and they're muted. Oh, I'm off mute.
Okay, maybe they can't talk. Let's see if anyone else has jumped on. Okay, I know Brandy was gonna. If she jumps on, we'll have Brandy introduce herself too. But why don't we get started? Let's chat a little bit first to help these guys out. And Sarah, or is it Sonia?
Sonia.
Sonia. Okay, if I say it wrong, you can just correct me. Okay.
No.
If you guys have if you have any questions while we're talking, you can totally interrupt us. That's the blessing of you guys being on live, and anybody that listens to the playback, they're going to learn from this still. But I'm interested to hear what Carolyn. So Carolyn and I were just talking. We're obviously trip chasers in this company, and in order to really get the trip, you're probably working towards a $2,000 a month income regardless. So again, all the things we're going to talk about today are going to tie together: building your consistent business, not taking the month of December off, and getting to a place where your paycheck's at minimum $2,000 a month. So I want to know what the lovely Carolyn has to say for advice in December first, before I give some tips myself. But I want to hear you go first.
Oh man. Okay. Tips in December. I would just say stay consistent. I know that this is the time sometimes that we're like, oh, it's the holidays, things are crazy. I'm just going to go ahead and just take, the month off. I'll get back to it starting in January. Everybody's busy anyway. If I can give you any advice, I would say don't do that, because I think you will be surprised if you were to do that and you'd go back in January and you'd be like, where are all my customers? I think that having that consistency and staying the course, sticking with your plan, how many parties do you want to have? Just because this is a holiday month doesn't mean that your goals are really any less. If you have something you want to achieve, at the end of the day, if you want to hit your goal and you don't hit it, I mean, you just don't hit it. It's not like, oh, well, I just took a few weeks off since it was December. Like, doesn't matter. You don't hit it. So I would say just continue to work with Kayla or myself or your upline team leader, whoever that might be, director, and we can help you do that. I mean, that's something that I'm excited for us to share today. But consistency, I would say, is huge. Keep doing what you're doing. Stay the course.
Yep, I would definitely say that too. I would definitely say that I use December as my month to get my own mind right on my new year. So a couple quick tips. Make sure you have a planner. You need to be filling it in at this point. So if you don't have one, get on Amazon Prime and get one pronto so it gets to your house.
Erin Condren planners are 30% off today only, by the way.
Holy cow. Go get, yeah, my planners are Erin Condren. Here's this year's and here's next year's. So they're right in front of me. But why I say planner is I just had a team member today say, oh my gosh, I guess I need to get a planner. And I was like, you've been working your business without a planner? How do you even do that? So anyway, get a planner and start working on filling January and February in now. That might sound crazy, but kind of following Sonara's strategic, always start with the business, land on a booking, and then fall with the sale last. You'll get sales in December and you'll still be building your December, but you really do need to be looking ahead at this point because, and PS, it's never too late to add a tasting. Like, you could add a tasting for Thursday night tonight, okay? So you don't have to have months in advance to book your calendar. But let's be real, if you want to build a professional big income here, you need to have a plan. And so your plan needs to be right now that you are booking January and February and even into March, and you're doing a thorough job. Here's what I tell my pacing partner, Carissa Perzo, all the time. I love December because it's a month I get to rock out the last of my parties, thank my customers from the bottom of my heart for a year that's been awesome. But I get the chance to start fresh with a whole new January of hostesses. I can coach them better. They don't have to know my flops or my flupas from the year before. It's just a fresh start. So go into your parties with a clean demo, positive energy, and all of that, and you can do all those things now in December. So stay consistent, touch your business every day. Those would be my tips. Why? Because the consistency is where that's the only way I believe this, that you're going to go from that $1,000 a month income. And if you're not there yet and you're watching this call, that's okay. But this call specifically is about going from that $1,000 a month, which is pretty easy to hit when you're a team leader with Wild Tree, to jumping up and making more than that, right? Getting to the $2,000 and $3,000 and $4,000 a month. And you can do that while working full time. Carolyn's proof of it. I'm proof of it. My paychecks were definitely over $2,000 while I still had my corporate job. Now, obviously, this is my full-time job and they're much more than that. But it all starts in the same place. And that is treating this like a business and using every day. If you have a pocket of time that you can touch it and stay in the habit. It might seem crazy, but you can send people Christmas wishes, if nothing else, the week of Christmas, and just be present cooking your Christmas meal and posting that on Facebook. That's all still applicable ways to just build. So anything, Carolyn, that I missed on that you want to add?
I love what you just said right there about, even if you're not calling people to book parties on, the week of Christmas, just still being engaged in your business and still being present, because I really do think that people are watching what you do. And when they see that you're being consistent like that, I think that goes a long way.
Yeah. So here's some math. If you're a note taker, I think Sarah's going to like this because Sarah's like a math teacher, a fourth grade teacher. So start. And hey, Brandy, I think I saw your phone number jump on. Thanks for joining, friend. Start with one party a week. If you want to write this down, at $500 in sales per party. Okay. That's $2,000 in sales. With no team members, that's $580 in income. So if you're listening to this playback or you're on tonight and that's where you got to start because that's what you need right now, write this down in your brain. I'm serious. One party a week, $500 a week in sales is what you need to tell yourself you're going to collect. That's $2,000 in sales a month, and that's $580 in income. With one team member on your team, that same amount of work, changing nothing. You do nothing else. Your team member doesn't even do anything. You just have her on your team. You make $640. And when you're a team leader, meaning you have at least 2 members on your team, you would make $800 on just $2,000 in sales. So see, we're very quickly just one party a week consistently though. Like you've got to do them well and you've got to have people show up and you need to treat it like it's the most important night of the week. You can be making between 580 and 800 like in December. Every one of you listening to this call or on or listening to the playback can do that. So the first step to making sure that is so funny. That happens to me all the time.
Does it really?
Yes, I make Insta stories and my phone falls over like Facebook Lives and people are like, seriously? I'm like, I need to buy a stand. I know, but I don't have it. So sorry.
I know, like, here's a ceiling.
Yeah. So the first step to all of this is then after you have those events, right? So like we're saying, start working now, start booking your calendar. You guys pretty much on this call, I think, know that. You know that the backbone of our business is events or bookings. We need to be offering the business opportunity to everybody. And here's why. In the numbers I just gave you above, with even one team member who's not even working, she's just physically on your team, you selling the $2,000 gives you a raise. You have 2 or 3 or 4 team members and they are working and they're getting excited and they're sharing Wild Tree. Not only did you bless their lives, let's make sure we don't underestimate the power in that, but that means that you're going to get paid as a team leader and your income is so much more. There's really no way for me to walk through a simple income plan here without telling you that you need to promote to team leader. Because if you stay at the representative level, you are going to work 3 times harder than someone like myself in this business because I have the team leader pay. I get 40%. So I don't want to go into like the details of what is team leader and how to get there. That's something to work with your upline on if you're watching this playback. But what you need to know is this whole conversation from this point on for the next 15 minutes leads with the business. So let's chat about that for a second. I know Carolyn is pretty passionate about this. So I have a couple tips for you guys that have truly helped me recruit over the last, especially 2 years. First tip is I tell myself I'm really good at recruiting. You will never hear me say I'm bad at recruiting. You might hear me joke about how I'm bad at sales, but I will never say I'm bad at recruiting, even if I'm in a slump. And the reason is I believe part of my success has come from telling myself, you're an awesome recruiter. You know how to help people get started. Wild Tree has the right tools. Like I say those truths to myself and my recruiting is high. I'm also not afraid to ask people. My hostesses, I talk about the opportunity at my parties, probably more than anyone on this call is doing. I'm going to tell you why in a second. And I definitely follow up with people. When they show interest in the business, I have a sense of urgency. So we had someone yesterday ask if I was available, one of my team members, for a 3-way call. She met someone over the weekend at a vendor event or recently at a vendor event, and this particular person was ready to chat. We scheduled that call like last minute. Like it was 9 a.m. and we talked at 9:40 or something like that. That night I checked in with the person and I said, hey, have you checked in with, let's just call her Sally, your recruit lead Sally. And she said, not yet. And I said, this is the time I would be checking in. At first I try to coach you guys. And if you're in Carolyn's team, I'm sure she does the same thing. I try to coach you that the sense of urgency is if we had a call in the morning, we've now given it all afternoon and night to think about it. Where are you at? It's okay if you're not ready to jump in, but then let's talk about what's holding you back. Guess what? She was ready. She signed up last night, same day we did the call, and now we're going to be scheduling her orientation call. And if you watch this, P.S., Marie, I love you, and you're going to be such a little spitfire here. I can't wait. But point of this whole story is there's got to be a sense of urgency because if you want $2,000+ a month, you cannot be like, oh, I'm just going to check in with her in a week. No, do not do that. Like you need to be talking about the business like it's precious to you. I want to quickly touch on why I think I talk more about it at my parties than most. And then I want to let Carolyn and anyone on the call have a chance too to share some tips on this. But I feel like this business today, especially my boss at my old corporate job had a massive heart attack this morning and passed away. And it gave me this huge perspective today. Why do I talk more about the business probably? And why do I not feel like I'm spammy or salesy or annoying? Because I know that the best secret. I never have to go to a job I'm miserable at. I never have to work hours I don't want to work. Yes, of course, I have the occasional hostess that's, just fails on me, right? She gives up, she cancels. Yes, I've cried a few times. Team members have said something that maybe hurt my feelings. I'm human, okay? This is not a perfect job, but it's certainly more perfect than spending 40, 50, 60 hours a week away from my son and paying a daycare to raise him, which is okay if you do that. Like, I'm not judging, but for my family, my heart, this is what I wanted for my life. So I say that at my parties. I give an introduction and I say, I came here for a discount, but now I gave up my corporate America 6-figure salary to do this. I choose this. That's how I start out my demo. So I encourage each of you, when you get off this call, to come up with your mantra, your personal, like, if you want $2,000 plus a month, why do you want that? What does it do for you? Maybe it has nothing to do with kiddos and being home. Maybe you love your job. Maybe you're a nurse and your passion is to truly change more people's lives. I choose Wild Tree. I choose being here tonight, you guys, because my goal is to change 100 people's lives a month, help them eat better, lower their cholesterol, whatever it is. But when you're fired up about it and you start your demo that way, you intertwine more of those little, I always think of it like sticking that thing in meat where you insert like the flavors. That's what I do the whole party. I'm like clumping it up. It's very flavorful by the time they come to checkout and we're ready to talk about the business. And you guys, you want to know my magic words at checkout? This is really, really fancy. This is how I recruit the numbers I recruit. Here's a copy of my story. I want you to take this home. I send it home with everyone. If you don't want to take it, you can just leave it on the table later. But I promise you, you'll read this while you're pooping sometime in the next couple days. And you will think of me, your Wild Trip. And I'm telling you guys, it's just my story. My team has seen it 100 times. It is nothing fancy, but it's a picture of my family and it paints the picture. I came here because I was into CrossFit. I came here to eat healthy. I still eat healthy today. Different season of life. I've been on 5 all-inclusive trips or whatever it's been. Like, it just tells that story. So I encourage you guys, those are my 2 most important pieces. Interject the business everywhere you go and have a sense of urgency. And for me, that means at checkout, every person is leaving with my story. So Carolyn, what about you? What do you got for that? Hey, I think you're muted.
Uh-oh. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. No, I was just saying you're awesome, and that was totally awesome. Mine, I would definitely say that the thing, I was very, very scared recruiting at first. It took me, let's see, I started doing parties in May. I think it took me at least 3-4 months of consistently trying to get my first recruit. And what I had to do was, I wasn't talking about it at parties at all. I wasn't talking to people about it. I was way too scared to be pushy. So my tip would be, do it scared. Even if it is terrifying to you, it's okay, because you're never going to say the wrong thing to the right person. If they are open and ready to hear what you have to say, like, there's nothing you can say that's wrong to them. Which leads me to my next point is, maybe you or somebody, and uh-oh, you guys just went black. Can you still hear me?
I can still hear you fine, yeah.
Okay, there. Now everybody's back. Okay, so that leads me to my next thing. If you are like me, I'm somebody that I like to have all the details. I like to know what I'm going to say. I like to have it planned out. I like to have a script, but I've learned that it's okay to not have a script. It's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to just be real and be you. And a really, really, really great guideline and resource that we have is that cycle of recruiting that's in our training module. So that's going to tell you exactly what to say, how to have that conversation when you sit down with your guests and you're having your one-on-one checkout, or you're talking with your host before the party to see if this would be a good fit for them, or maybe they came to you as a referral or whatever it is. It tells you what to say. It guides you through. And we're here to help you with that too. 3-way calls. I'm really working with my business coach, Jenny, on that as well. Just really getting my upline involved, or having my teammates know that they can get me involved as a resource too. We're here to help you. That third-party validation is something that I think is really, really huge. And that I've seen a lot of my team members have success with that so far with recruiting. So that was kind of random, but is there anything I missed or you want to add?
No, I think the 3-way calls are huge, because I know that you're offering them and I am. So anyone listening to this playback would know that, or you should know that you have access to that. Rachel, like I said, called me yesterday morning and said, can you do this call? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And honestly, like, to me, I can talk about the business literally with my eyes closed, laying in bed. Like I can literally talk about this in my sleep, but that's because I'm uber passionate about it. So let somebody who's more passionate lead a call a couple times where you're on it. Or, and you guys are welcome. You guys do this too. Carolyn, I think you're still doing your Discover Wild Tree group, whatever you guys call it on Sunday nights, but go watch a couple of those videos. I encourage all of you to almost memorize the script. Be so good at the Discover Wild Tree script, even though you're not the one doing it live, that if somebody you're talking at a party, you don't ever feel like you're doubting yourself. I think this is the biggest thing. I love what you said. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person. Janelle could have said the business kit was $500 and I probably would have bought it anyway, my upline, because I just thought I'm in a workshop every month. This is worth a shot. I'm going to see what happens. I mean, people buy makeup kits or LuLaRoe clothing for $5,000, you know, and you have no idea what you're getting when you buy those business kits. You're just getting 12 pairs of this size legging or whatever. My point is, I think sometimes we think, oh my gosh, it's $129 and they have to sell $350 every 4 months. Oh my God, that's just a shake. Like it's just drinking the shake every day almost. So I just really want to downplay the business a little bit and say the business, when you make it this big deal, no one's going to join you. I just want to be honest with you. But when you just make it one of your products, like I sell a business opportunity or I book parties or I can just sell you products right out of this catalog tonight. Either way, it's cool with me. When you're that confident in who you are and they sense that, that is attractive to people. So I want to make sure I get through all this, the number side of it, because some people are going to watch this and want to know this, but you must lead with recruiting. And here's why. So you get to team leader, right? When you do the above example, the $500 a week, $2,000 in personal sales, and your team then does the other $1,500 you need for team leader, your paycheck is $980 at minimum. When you sell $2,000 and your team makes up the other difference of $1,500. Okay, so you're hitting leader numbers and you're making $980. That's where a lot of leaders probably are at in our organizations. So if you're watching this and you're around that mark, you might have some higher ones, you might have some lower ones. That's an amazing place to be. I mean, raise your hand if you're cool with an extra $1,000 a month. This is extra income. That's great. But a lot of times we get asked, and I know Sarah's on the phone and Brandy's on the phone, they want more than that. Like they're cool now here. They've been here a while. They get the process. So when you add an additional party a week, or call it what you want to, when you add an extra $500 a week, so a week you set a goal to sell $1,000 a week versus 500. Is everybody with me so far in my math? So we went from one $500 event, or however you're going to collect 500 a week, 2,000 a month. We're gonna double that, and you need to tell yourself, I'm going to sell $4,000 a month. The reason this number is so important, fours changed my business. Here, I'm putting up 4 fingers if you're live. Write this down if you're a note taker. Fours changed my business because $4,000 in sales and 4 recruits literally is where statistics cannot work against you anymore. When you sell $4,000 a month, you're talking to enough people, period, that you have 4 recruits or more in that funnel. And if you tell me no, I'm going to tell you you're lying, because I've proven it out time and time and time again since I started this business. And I'm nothing fancy. I mean, like, this is so much dry shampoo, you can almost like peel the grease like out of my hair. Like, there's nothing fancy about my personality or my business. I work with customer care surveys like the rest of you in an office where there's dog hair everywhere. Like, this is my life. 4 recruits a month is the answer. And I know you're going to be like, 4 recruits, I can't even get one. Hear me out. 1 recruit out of the 4 will do nothing. They will be a big fat 0, and that's okay. You're going to love them anyway, but they're just not going to ever do anything. And the more that you can just get your head around that, the better. 1 recruit is going to be a complete rock star. I feel like this new Vanessa that just joined us, she looks like a rock star. They're going to be like her, right? Is it Vanessa? Is that her name? Okay. They're going to be like her, just killing it in the Wild Tree world. Okay. But just rocking. So that's going to be 1. And then the other 2 are going to be amazing part-timers. They're going to put in sales most months. They're going to try to do parties, but they've also got a lot going on in their life, and this just isn't going to be focused for them. So 4 is where you beat the odds, because you can have the drop-off recruit. You get 2 part-timers that are having fun and putting in team volume and just having fun with you, and you get your 1 really big worker. Why is that important? Because when you start selling $4,000 a month, your income goes from $800 on your personal sales to $1,600. So does everybody get the difference in the examples? You're doing 1 party a week, you're selling $2,000 a month, you're a team leader, you're making 40%, so you're getting $800, right? You need to double that in order to get to that $2,000 mark. Okay. So you need to do 4,000, make 1,600. Then the last 400 is easy to get to the $2,000 mark. That's going to come from your team's volume. But more than that, I hope you're seeing the bigger picture here. If you're adding at least 1 to 2 teammates, let's start a little bit smaller, okay? And then Carolyn, you can help bring this back home because I feel like I'm going to lose them in all the numbers. When you're adding at least 1 to 2 team members per month, it's unlikely that your team will stay anywhere close to the $3,500 min. It's more likely that your team's going to be at $5,000 in team volume, $10,000 in team volume. So you're going to crush the $2,000. Here's a trick. Think in your life right now. Think of something that costs approximately like $1,500 to $2,000. Like maybe if you saved that for an entire year, you would take that 24 grand and put it away for one of your kids for college. Or I have no idea. But you got to think of something that's in that like $1,800 to $2,000 a month range. I just put my mortgage on a picture of my house, my physical house. I stood out in front of it and I put that on a board with the cost of my mortgage, which is high. And I told myself, you'll never make less than this ever again. That's all I had to do. I just said, you'll never make less than $2,000 again. And I never did. I've never have, even when I was working full time. I think it's so important, that piece. Like, I really want you guys to get the numbers on this call. So if you jumped on late, go back and listen to the breakdown in math. And I also give it to Carolyn. P.S. I'll give it to her that she can send to you guys written out so that you have it visually in front of you. But I think it's super important to take something that's about that $2,000 at first, and you got to aim for that. You need to go for that $4,000 in sales. If you're watching this call or listening and you're like, girl, I did $350 this month so far, I am nowhere near 4,000. That's okay. You're exactly the person that we need to listen to this. You just need to start with one party a week, $500 a week in sales. Get to the $2,000 mark and then go from there. Okay? Does everybody get that? So shake your head yes if that makes sense. You have to start somewhere, okay? And so it's okay to be like, crap, I'm nowhere close to that. Now, some people on this call tonight are close to that. You're selling that amount personally. So now your focus gets to be, in my eyes, the fun side of the business. You need to challenge yourself with a little, 4 check marks of some kind somewhere on a board and tell yourself, I will find 4 recruits this next month. Like, that's going to be my goal. I'm going to talk to everyone and their brother. Guys, there are people that earned the iWatch incentive that aren't like Carolyn and I that work our business, very consistently. There were some that came out of the woodwork that spent that month in September asking everyone so that they could find 7 people. It's possible. I'm not asking you to find 7. Just start with a magic number 4. And if you sign 2 recruits, how awesome are you going to feel? Because again, you're changing their lives. It's not about you. But in the meantime, you are going to creep your income up by being a recruiter. Somebody asked me yesterday, my best advice in the business. It was a rep in Wild Tree. She's rather new. She does not know me. So I'm sure she's regretting asking me this question. And I messaged her back and I said, I hope you don't think you signed up to sell taco seasoning, because we're actually in the business of recruiting people to sell taco seasoning. It's the best thing ever. I don't think she's ever going to ask me for advice again. But that is what I tell people, that we're in the business of recruiting people. And it truly is the best part. So, okay, Carolyn, I want to make sure that you have time to talk and that we get to let them all ask questions too. So what I missed?
No, I think you're good. I mean, I had something and it kind of just, it went. So it was in my brain and now it's gone. I can't think of anything right now that I want to add. I think that was awesome.
Sarah's on the call and she's actually gone from, having months where maybe she didn't add a team member to pretty consistently now. Sarah adds, members a month. And just tonight we were talking, I think she has 9 team members that were working this month, and she has higher team volume than ever before. Her personal sales are great. Her calendar is full. She can relax. Her paycheck is creeping up. And if you don't know Sarah's story, she just remodeled her family's kitchen. You guys, I can't even recognize the house. It looks like a different house. Like those are powerful stories. And Sarah, sorry, I'm always telling your story for you. She's a 4th grade teacher. She works full time. This is her side gig. So I think that's really, I don't know. I think it's really valuable. Like to hear.
That actually did what I wanted to say is that you know, once you are growing and building at first, it might seem like, oh my gosh, I'm doing so much work. I'm exhausted. I'm doing this all the time. This is so much. But as you keep consistently going, you're going to find that it gets easier. I mean, I have noticed that for sure. I remember even when I first hit my team leader numbers for my first like 6 months, I would lay in bed at night crunching the numbers in my head. I would have so much anxiety, like, oh my gosh, this is so much. I have to work so much. I'm having to do 6 to 8 parties myself every month just to hit this volume that I want to hit. But then I realized, you know, like you said, like once I started talking to people about the business and sharing the business opportunity and figuring out that I'm talking about this because I'm passionate about it and there are other people that are interested too, I started having, you know, my team a month, and then I would have two, and then it grew to three, you know, and then once those people started working their business and doing their thing, it got to be so much easier. I found that my team volume was growing way faster. I mean, I went from, am I going to hit 3,500 this month to, oh, it's the 10th of the month and I already hit my team leader numbers. That's all right. It's all good, you know, like, so it just comes from that consistency. And I know I keep saying that word a million times, but it's so true.
Totally true. Who has a question or a thought that's on the call? Because it'll probably help somebody who listens to the playback for sure. Anyone?
I don't have any questions. It's just more or less, I totally agree with everything that you and Caroline have said, in that it takes time. It is consistent. I love what she just said with, in the beginning, it feels like, you know, you're putting in a lot of extra work and always thinking about it and that sort of thing. And once you do hit team leader, yeah, it does take a little bit of weight off your shoulders, but at the same time, now there's other goals that I want to go for. And, you know, like our mantra is, you know, now it's raising the bar. And, you know, just kind of always believing in yourself that you're capable of doing it. And there are people out there who want this. And it's just a matter of finding them and talking to them and making sure to share the opportunity, because I didn't share as much as I should have been earlier on in my business too. And it's our best product, and you never know who needs us. You know, like, so for us to go to a party and assume that nobody wants to hear about the opportunity is you know, being unfair to the people in that room, or the people at, you know, on that Facebook party, or the person on the other end of the phone, you know, whoever it is that you're talking to.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to say too, like, I want to make sure we make it clear you're not being coached to push people into the business. Please don't recruit people who don't want to do this. Actually, that drives me nuts. Sarah knows how I feel about those people, right, Sarah? Brandon.
Amen.
Yeah, but I do think that's where, like, when you get confident in it, you can tell right away if someone's just kind of jerking you around, or they're just being nice and being like, oh yeah, I guess I've never really thought about direct sales. You can get a feel really fast, like, if they're interested or not. So by no means is this call about like go suck people in and just sign people up, bribe them, pay for their kits. Like, none of that is what I'm saying. I'm saying go find people to bless. Go find people who want to grow a business. Go find people who are like-minded, like you. And that can be for the discount, that can be for a part-time, or that can be for a big time income, whatever they're coming for. But I just want to make sure that we didn't make it sound like that. My team knows that, but I don't know you lovely ladies that I get to see on the camera tonight. So I just don't want you to think that that's where I coach my team or how. No, find people that want it. But the only way you find people that want it is if you ask everyone, pretty much. And when I say ask everyone, I just talk about the business. I showcase it on social media. I'm just proud of what I do. I'm just really proud of what I do. And again, today, the most humbling experience, talking about losing someone in their 50s to a massive heart attack. And I worked with him day in and day out for several years. All he did was work all the time. I love the guy. He was a great guy, but now his wife is going to be alone. His kids will never, like, their dad won't be at graduation. Their dad won't ever be at their weddings. And all I could think about was, man, to get 10 extra hours a week, if one of you could go down to part-time hours at some point and make more money here and be able to spend that with your family instead, or putting your feet up and sitting in a recliner with a blanket and reading a book, if that's something that fills your life, You only get one life. So that's really the message I want you to take away from this. Like, you never know if you get tomorrow. Like, don't spend it wasted. Go share the business instead and grow that income here. So I'll give Carolyn that typed out kind of breakdown of how you can build your income faster, but it all comes down to working through December consistently and sharing the business opportunity. Does that help you guys? I hope this was helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
I think you're muted, Carolyn.
And I think it's going to kick us off.
Okay. I will upload the recording right away. And do you guys like these calls? Shake your head. Yes. Should we keep doing them?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
A little higher level learning together. Is this good? Okay. Because then we'll keep it going and we'll connect, Carolyn, and you and I for a call in December, and then we'll maybe do 2 in January. Come up with some good topics. Does that sound good?
Yep. Awesome.
Okay. Thank you guys all for your time. Seriously, if you got on live, you are the best. Go kick some ass in December. Okay. Okay.
Bye.
If I don't talk to you all, Merry Christmas.